go yard.
Hello and welcome back to the CFCTALK podcast. As always, you're Mohammad Soleja, joined by Alex. Amart couldn't make it again today, but we've got someone who had last season. I remember Zogba for the Arsenal game, and the banter's already started behind the scenes. We've all been going at each other, so it's going to be an interesting podcast. But before we introduce him and before we get into the podcast itself, just a bit of a word about our sponsors. Season Kit Bag. They've got a 20% off and free shipping in the UK if you use the code BALLER. They're even selling Arsenal kits for free since no one's buying them. If you want one, Zogba, but I am coming here with all guns blazing. But no, other than that, the UEFA awards and as well as a bit about the abuse that particular supporter gave to Werner during the midweek open training, as well as some of the transfer news with Emerson leaving on loan, Tammy going to Roma, and Batshuayi joining Besiktas on a loan as well. Zogba, how are you doing? Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm not too bad. A little bit disappointed. A little bit downtrodden after our result on the
So
weekend.
one of the most important
but,
questions before I let
it's time
Alex
to pick
speak
ourselves up
is
and go again.
what color
I
is
think
London?
that's what they say. So at the moment, I would say it was reddish white. It's reddish white. It's I think you know how they say that blue is like the sky is blue, but that's not really a color because it's like a refraction of light. That's the color London
that's
is
a
now.
smart answer.
London is not a color.
But
It's just a refraction
Alex,
of light, so it
welcome.
turns blue.
Alex, welcome. How are you doing? You must have had a great week. Chelsea winning against Crystal Palace.
Yeah, well, what a week. I mean, we've had a lot of good news and yeah, a lot of good news around the club, so there's a lot to be happy about for sure. I think Lukaku coming in has kind of given a buzz about Chelsea, and it was nice to see with the open training session yesterday as well, or for the most part. It was nice to see that. Nice to see interviews with Lukaku and all that stuff, and his preference of but actually no, I'm going to go off a little bit of a tangent here, but he shut down. I have a little bit of I'm having my doubts about two opinions of his. Firstly, that pineapple doesn't belong on pizza, which then again, I think
It doesn't.
He said he went to Italy, and then also that he didn't understand people who. So yeah. Yeah,
But wait. He just came from Italy.
Yeah. Oh,
he just came from Italy.
Are going to come for him. No,
that
then the other
that.
one was he
That
didn't understand
explains
people
that.
who drink sparkling water. So I think already I'm having my doubts about the man. And
Right, exactly.
I felt personally attacked by his interviews yesterday. So yeah, but other than that,
send him back or after Arsenal.
Yeah, send him back. Send him back. No receipt. No refund or anything. Just send him back. But other than that, yeah, what a week for. Sorry for the time. Yeah, what a week though. Lukaku's just raised.
No, I mean I agree.
How about you?
I agree. Chelsea. I mean, in terms of Chelsea, it's just going incredible. I'm not just talking about the men's team, but the youth team. I've gone and Alex has just broken this news to me a few minutes before the podcast, but Chalobah is not going to a loan, and Thomas Tuchel's apparently told him that he's going to be staying, as Arkansas is reporting. So, my fan account is almost ready to be launched next week. It's going to replace this one. But I can see him dropping a world class performance again against Arsenal already. But Zogba, I mean, he will say, okay, as a neutral, you have to kind of give him some sort of respect for his
Can you?
against Arsenal in the preseason, against Spurs, and then Crystal Palace as well. He scored a goal as well.
We need to think of a name for your Twitter account that you get. Is it going to be like Tremendous Trevor or like?
I'll give you that.
I can't think of an adjective that begins with CH that ends in Chalova.
We'll
I
have
don't
to
know.
kind of figure that out. But
You'll have to, yeah.
but Zogba, a tough few last months. Yeah.
That's
Tough last few months for Arsenal.
cherished
What's the
Chalobah.
situation with Arteta and Arsenal and not to get ahead of debate a little bit, but 150 should have been spent by the 31st of August if they buy. I think they're targeting 2 more players. I don't exactly remember who it is. One of them's a goalkeeper. What's going on with Arsenal? Is this what's happening?
Well, where do I start? Okay. I'm gonna try and keep this first of all PG because I'm assuming I can't swear on this podcast, and second of all, I'm gonna try and keep it short. So first, I don't know what's going on with the club at the moment. I don't know what to say. Like I'm genuinely completely lost for words because the last time I was on here, I was teasing you guys about how like you bought Timo Werner and like he hadn't come good and you needed to get a new striker and Lampard was like inept and like I felt on top of the world and then here we are like about a couple 8 to 10 months later and like roles are completely reversed because like our manager is inept, our transfer business has been terrible. We seem to not know what we're doing. We can't seem to defend. We spent 50 million on a Brighton defender who can't head the ball. We have signed. I don't know. We signed Martin Odegaard.
We have
Excited.
signed and sorry, Zogby, you cut out for about 10 seconds. We lost you at we have signed, so go from there. Yeah.
Wait, did you lose me there for a second? Okay, no. Okay, yeah, no, I was saying we've signed Martin Odegaard, and like that's about as excited as fans get now because it's like, I mean, sure, we've got an attacking creative midfielder, but like that's somebody who is like let's call a spade, right? Like he's a Real Madrid reject. Um, and that's what we're picking up now. We're picking up scraps from Real Madrid. Like, like Smith Rowe is. I don't think there's like at this moment, in my opinion, there isn't like a huge difference between Odegaard and Smith Rowe. I don't know why we're spending 50 million pounds on him. We're trying to move out like Aubameyang. We're trying to move out Lacazette. We're trying to move out a whole bunch of players who nobody seems to want to buy. I like looking at our transfer business, I don't know exactly what Arteta is trying to build at the moment because you're selling our 2 of our most prolific strikers, and you're not planning
If
on
I may
bringing
jump in,
anybody in.
I think
You're looking to sign a backup goalkeeper
if I may
because our
jump
first
in, I
goalkeeper is
think the
terrible.
rumors
But
about
then you
Lacazette
sold
and Aubameyang
arguably our best goalkeeper the
are
season before.
false. Fabrizio Romano came on and said Barcelona are not interested at
No,
all,
go ahead.
and will be staying at Arsenal.
I mean, I can imagine they're staying, but like it doesn't at the moment. It doesn't seem like, or at least from what I've seen of like our of what Arteta's trying to do. I don't see them as like players he's trying to keep at the club or players he's interested in playing. Personally, I actually would like it if Aubameyang left for money and or Lacazette left for money because like we need to cash in on one of those two at this point. They're old, their contracts are running out. Like this is the time to sell, make money, and bring somebody in. But like that's the issue with the club, right? Like we sell those two, and those are 2 of like our oldest and most influential players. And who comes in to replace what we've lost when we lose them? How much can we sell them for? Because they're both, I think they both got like 1 year left on their contracts. So like it's this same thing we do every single season, where it's like our best players our best player's contract is running out, and the player we gave a huge contract to isn't playing as well as we expect him to play. So now we need to move both of them out, and we need to get this person. And it's like it always seems like we're in a rush, and we like made the wrong decision, and that makes me question what's going on at the club. Honestly, like I'm not
Would would
optimistic,
would you would you say in
but
terms of
I'm
what
trying to keep a smile
Lacazette
on my
and
face.
the things happening
Otherwise,
with Lacazette and
jump off a
Aubameyang are just a
bridge.
bit more very similar to the situation with what happened with David Luiz and now Willian as well?
Oh, even like besides, like I'll say it reminds me of what's happening with Lacazette. Kind of reminds me of what happened with Van Persie, where it's like he was one of our best strikers at the club, and then we basically let his contract run down, and he went to another really good club for no money. He's not the first player to have done that. Same thing happened with Ramsey more recently, and I think what's happening with Aubameyang is kind of what happened with Ozil, where it's like we gave him a huge contract because we needed him to stay because he was our marquee player, and he wasn't performing nearly to the standard that like we expected him to perform to. So now we needed to move him on, but because he was on huge wages, we couldn't move him to anybody who really wanted him. I think Aubameyang has slightly more value than Mesut Ozil did when we wanted to move him on, but I don't think that the difference in value between the two is very, very huge at this moment. So I don't see either of them going for what it is that we should be getting back for them, and that is like a tragedy for the club because like yeah, like 2 years ago, honestly, I would have never sat here and been like, yeah, Aubameyang and Lacazette are going to move on for almost nothing at like 2 years later, and the club is going to be in shambles because our best players are Saka and
It's
Emil Smith Rowe and Ben White. Like that's really sad. That's a really sad thing to say if you think about it. Like, yeah, our best players are an 18-year-old who just broke into the team, a 50-year-old defender who we signed from Brighton who can't head the ball, and like one of the stars who's like 19, like a 19, an 18-year-old, and what like a
Alex, on the other
22-year-old
hand,
we
we've
signed
got
from
someone
Brighton.
like Lukaku.
That doesn't fill me with
He
confidence
can't
at
perform.
all.
way to flex there, but yeah, it's like the one. Yeah. Well, like
Oh
to
yeah,
make us more
yeah.
smoother transition.
Rub it
Are
in my
you a
face.
little
Hey,
Yeah,
surprised that?
please rub it in
Because
my
I mean,
face.
sorry, Alex, but Zogba, we're only rubbing it in your face. He's going to be the one scoring goals. So
oh man, if Lukaku blanks this weekend, Mohammed, Zogba's going to be all over us. Because we'll get onto it in later, but yeah, because you just know what's going
yeah,
down.
Oh my goodness, it's gonna be brilliant. I can't wait to come back. I can't wait to come back. Honestly, if he doesn't bang, I will get my camera fixed. I will buy a new
we're,
laptop, and I will be here with
we're
like a
shutting
big
down the
ass
podcast
smile on my
after this
face,
episode.
Yeah,
and I'll be
yeah.
like,
If Lukaku
yes,
blanks,
that's me. That's me. Hello,
big
guys.
shots coming out. But were you surprised that Tammy, like, because there was a lot of stuff written about how Tammy wanted to go to Arsenal, but then the offer just didn't come. Well, I don't know if Mohammed, if you've heard similar things, but I was really surprised that he didn't end up going into Arsenal in the end, considering you guys needed someone like him. Well, you needed a striker.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so with the time. Yeah, with the Tammy issue, it's a little bit weird for me because, like, I really like Tammy Abraham as a player. I would have liked it if we had got him, but to be honest, I don't like. Lampard did really good work with Tammy Abraham. I think Lampard did a really good job of getting the best out of Tammy Abraham. But I like for a club of Arsenal's size, and I know that sounds really, really weird considering what I just said about the club, but like for a club of our history, I don't think we should be signing somebody like Tammy Abraham because like I mean we should like come on, we signed Aubameyang like what 3 years ago, right? And he was like the top striker in Germany coming from Dortmund. That would be like us signing the equivalent of somebody like Lewandowski or somebody like that, or like when you guys signed Werner, right? Even though that didn't turn out well, he was still like a marquee signing, a marquee name, a big player who had consistently proved to like do well at at the highest level. Like Tammy Abraham had what one really good season in the Premier League, and even if that, because once like they switched him out
Yeah,
for
pretty much.
what's his name, Tuchel came in, he immediately switched him out, right?
Mm.
He immediately switched out Abraham, and he was like, okay, he's good, but like we need better, and that's why you guys are spending money to bring in Lukaku, because Abraham just can't cut it for teams that are like trying to win trophies. He's a good squad player. He's a good player. If he was playing for a team like Aston Villa, if he was like an Ollie Watkins or a player or like a Danny Ings, right? Like he's good
Mm.
as that kind of player. He's not a Lukaku or a like Harry Kane or one of those strikers where it's like, okay, this guy's gonna win you games, he's gonna win you titles. You don't sign Abraham for that. That's why Roma is a good move, and I don't think Arsenal
But
should be looking to sign a player like that, because as far as we've fallen, I don't think we're at like
but
Aston
I'm
Villa
not
levels yet.
that Abraham's
Although
not the kind of striker you would
that's
buy
really
to
rich
win a title.
considering.
Particularly Arsenal's aim, and I'm not trying to joke around or something. I'm just to ask, as a fan, what do you call a success season? Arsenal would top six this season, or do you really think that you can win the title? Is that why you said Tammy Abraham is the
So
right
at the
fit?
moment, if I had to like gauge what success would mean for us this season, first and foremost, I think success would mean that we finish in the top six. At least we're back in Europe. If we finish in the top six, that's a successful season. If we finish in the top four, it's a brilliant season. I think if we win a cup, whether it's the League Cup or the FA Cup, that is also brilliant. I would expect us to get to the final of one of them, because considering we don't have Europe at all this season, like at
Yeah.
the very minimum, we should do very well in the league. Liverpool did that when they weren't in Europe. I believe Chelsea did similar when the season after they finished way outside of the top four. So like that's what we should be aiming for, right? Like we should be that, if we want to get back to the top six, top four is what we should be aiming for, and like really deep runs in cup competitions, right? Like at least semi to finals
Yeah,
is what we
I
should. That
definitely
that
see
would be a
Arsenal
successful
like
season for me.
because
I'm
of the
not
whole
expecting too
Europe
much.
thing, just like you said with other teams, like particularly for a trophy, be it either one of the domestic cups. Like I I can't remember who I predicted, Mohammed, a couple of episodes ago to win the
The
FA
FA
Cup.
Cup,
I
the
think
FA Cup for Arsenal.
I think I said Ars. Yeah, I think I predicted Arsenal. I can't remember. I'll have to go back and check, but I reckon Arsenal will that's got Arsenal's name written all over it. It tends to anyway because of reasons, but but yeah, it's like
Referees,
yeah,
referees.
well yeah, we don't talk about that. You can watch our video from many months ago where we were very upset, but yeah. I think it's got Arsenal's name, particularly when it comes to the end of the season where lots of squads are tired, whereas Arsenal not having the not having European competitions coming clutch. Hopefully. Well, no, not hopefully, but I think for you, hopefully. But yeah, that's
Right,
uh,
Sunday afternoon. Um, let's try and predict the. I don't want to jump straight into the line at the moment because that's just jumping over the topics. But Alex Chalobah not going on a loan, which just seems like the right thing to do. If someone
oh yeah,
like him is playing the way he has been, he has to start against Arsenal, right? And he has
yeah.
to score a goal.
Dude, if he can, oh well, that's asking. I'll take a Lukaku goal. That's like that's a great day. Chalobah's that's just like some magic, some juju's gone on there. He's just like he's can't do any wrong. This because he's literally not put a foot wrong this whole preseason. And it's amazing that he's been getting the opportunities. No one would have predicted like ever. I mean, yeah, nobody in the fan base was expecting him to firstly still be here, and secondly to actually be playing for the first team and be playing in the Premier League. So yeah, it's completely justified, and it's convenient that I guess there are a lot of other players that are coming just back off the Euros. They don't have that much sharpness yet. So there's someone to kind of fill in at right centre back, and he's taken that opportunity and run with it pretty much. And he's just not drop. You can't drop him right now. You can't. I mean, yes, Asby's come on and looked solid, but yeah, not at right. Yeah, you just can't drop him yet. it's totally the news of the new contract is totally deserved, and there's been a lot of happy Chelsea fans
Yeah.
on Twitter this evening to hearing that Tuchel's said that he's not going to go on loan. It's made a lot of fans happy.
No, I think yeah, I think not just because of his contract being extended, but because of the amount of players we've sold this season, or loaned out academy players who were expected to at least break into the first team, if not maybe still be at Chelsea season before he would come in next season. So it's nice to see Chalobah being given the opportunity after some great performances. And if it keeps going this way, I see him like quickly coming into the first team. I mean, Mason Mount did that, so why not Chalobah as well, and then Reece James as well. So yeah, we've got a abundance of talent. I know Arsenal pride their academy quite a lot, and I know you said, Sogba, that you've got a 19-year-old who's considered the best Arsenal player at the moment. Um, do you think those are the kind of players that Arsenal are going to have to rely on this season to get them over the line?
Yep.
Tough, or just get the one or three that are required every game, and move on and just be another transition season?
For me, right, it depends on, again, like I mean, I've got what I believe to be a successful season for us in my head. I don't know what exactly it is that the club is looking to do, but if the club matches my ambitions, I would say that, like, yeah, we can't have a 19-year-old being the best player on the pitch every single game, and even if he is our best player talent wise, I don't think a 19-year-old should be the leader of our team. I mean, Granit Xhaka just extended his contract because apparently he's supposed to be the leader in the dressing room. But we all know his history and the issues that we've had with him and his quote unquote leadership, like flipping off the fans in the past and things like that. So I mean, I don't know if he's exactly the best example for young players. I think that we definitely do need to bring in some leadership, some like old heads, somebody who's going to point the club in the right direction. I just wanted to speak really quickly about like your youth team. So like, yeah, Chelsea do have, because you guys have always had like a really good youth setup, right? Um, you've always had good players that you break through, and usually what happens is you usually sell them off for like really good value. I remember a couple of years ago you had Gael Kakuta, who was like huge and was supposed to be like the next big thing, and then he just like disappeared into nothingness. But like, yeah, I think that the London area generally tends to do really good with recruitment. I'm looking forward to seeing your young players do a little bit better. But for as far as our club, I mean, moving forward, I definitely think we can rely on young players to do well. There's the whole you can't win anything with kids and the class of 92. And yes, we know that's an anomaly. I mean, it happens rarely. It's possible it can happen again. I think that we have enough good young players that we could kind of replicate that if they have a good manager and a good direction. But the class of 92 always talk about how somebody like Eric Cantona had a huge influence on the squad once they signed him, with regards to like lifting the place and giving them confidence and making them believe that they could be winners. And the same thing happened later on with Manchester United, always making sure that when they brought young players through, they would always have like an experienced professional who is a world class player who can inspire the youngsters and give them direction. And at the moment, I don't think we have that at the club. I think we thought Aubameyang was going to be that guy. Aubameyang is not that guy. Xhaka is not that guy. We need somebody like that who's going to come in and yeah, and lift and inspire the club. The young players can do it, but they need a leader, and
No,
we
I
don't
will. I
have
will
one
chip in
yet.
and
We're
kind of say,
definitely going to have to
Arsenal.
work
I
really
do
hard
agree
to
with
bring
the
in
fact that you
somebody
said
like that.
London tends to have one of the best academies in the world, and Arsenal do contribute to that as well. There have been some great talent in the Arsenal academy as well, and your completely makes sense in the fair of how you need those senior players to guide your youngsters through, and I think that's what's happening. And that's what's happening so well because of Thiago Silva, because of Azpilicueta, who can kind of nurture these talents in defense and those players in the midfield and the attack as well to help out Werner when needed in kind of situations like that. Alex, Ziyech's back in training.
Yep.
Kante's back in training. I
Absolutely.
think Kante might be fit for Arsenal, which should be an issue for Zogba. And Ziyech still seems like he might be out.
One of my favorite players, easily one of my favorite players, N'Golo Kante, like easily top
Don't worry, you can
three,
have him
top
when we're
four
done.
favorite players, and
You can.
I wanted us to sign him so bad. Oh my god, it
I
still
mean,
hurts.
to be
It
fair,
still
you're really
hurts.
good.
It still hurts. Thanks for
Yeah,
opening the old
yeah.
wound. We probably will take him when you're done. That seems to be our thing. We took David Luiz when you guys were done with him, and then we took Willian when you guys were done.
I
I
just can't
can see us
imagine whenever
doing that.
he's 30 now. He's probably got another, at least a couple. I mean, and as long as that he keeps that engine in and going, I just can't fathom Kante dropping his levels. I think the main thing he'll eventually decline due to injuries, not due to fitness, right? Or I guess that's kind of fitness, but it's hard to imagine Kante leaving, but that's the thing for 4 years from now. We didn't speak about it, but
He's been our backbone.
yeah. But I don't think I'm not sure if he'll start this game. To be honest, we've done it many times in the past, rushing him back, and then it screws his season or screws him for the next couple of seasons. So it's just not worth it. And I trust in Jorginho and Kovacic. Like Jorginho, he's just playing fantastic right now. He's not getting. I mean, I guess it's like whenever he's not getting caught out, he looks great, and he hasn't been in this. He just doesn't get caught out in the system, so it's fine. And Kovacic is playing pretty solid too, compared to a couple of weeks or in the latter stages of last season. Kovacic kind of dropped off a bit, I thought. So yeah, they're playing well, but it's like it's Arsenal. We could have literally Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets in the midfield, but you know what's happening at the end of the day. It's inevitable. It's just like I'm so cautious. Yeah, yeah,
It's not. It's really
yeah,
not. It's not. You guys are forgetting the
yeah,
Drogba days. You're forgetting the
yeah,
Drogba days. Drogba days
yeah.
were
Him again.
it
Yeah,
was that was
yeah,
inevitable.
yeah.
Drogba days were inevitable. It was like, oh well, we're playing
Mm,
Chelsea, so Drogba's gonna get a goal. We're gonna get bullied, and we're gonna
mm.
right. And like honestly, I would take a one-footed N'Golo Kante with like in a wheelchair over like Granit Xhaka at the
To be,
moment.
to be
Honestly,
honest,
I would literally
I
take.
I I did say I
Like
remember one of the episodes
honestly,
last season when Kante was injured for a
he's
while, and I said, you know what, just put him on the pitch. If Kante is equal to two players at a time, an injured Kante is probably just one player, which is still good enough. So I do get your point.
honestly just one. Honestly, yeah. I trust me. I would genuinely take N'Golo. Oh my! Like I can't stop raving about him, and he's because like that thing where there's a player who would just if he came to your club, everything would be perfect, or like it would improve it massively. You would take a huge step forward, and you see him play every week, and you want that for your
Mm.
club. That's how I feel every time I watch Chelsea play and I see N'Golo Kante. I'm like, that's what we need. That is exactly what we need. Like, where is that guy? So yeah, like happy
No,
for
but I
you
mean,
guys. I say through
Sorry.
gritted teeth,
Go on.
but I'm happy for you
go for it,
guys.
go for it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I was really worried when you guys signed Thomas Partey because I thought he would have that kind of effect in terms of they're not the same player or kind of player, but it's like, yeah, I thought Partey would have a really positive effect on Arsenal's defense. But do you know why it like kind of? I know has he had some injuries or it's just not? Do you think he's played like? Yeah, I was really worried because couldn't believe you got him.
let me let me make it really simple. Let me make it really simple. There's two main issues there. Okay, so Partey is a really good player, no doubt. But like he was playing at Atletico Madrid, and we all know Diego Simeone and his what we lovingly
Yeah.
call on Twitter haram ball.
Mm.
Like it's fully defensive, It's like 10 men behind the ball. It's like we aren't here to beat you with style. We're here to grind and like dominate and like, yeah, like be physical with you. I don't think that that's the style Arteta wants to play, which is weird because like then why would you sign a player like that? He's supposed to be the anchor at the base of our midfield. But like having watched him a couple of games last season, and I even wrote an article like when we first signed him that like, okay, if this guy's supposed to be our holding midfielder who's supposed to like, you know, allow the other players to attack, or at the very like best, he's a double pivot. So we play him and Xhaka in midfield, then and they're able to shield the back four, then his job should primarily be win the ball, get the ball, spray the ball. Win the ball, get the ball, pass it to his midfield partner. So he's either going to be a Busquets or he's going to be like more of like a Patrick Vieira when Vieira was like in his pomp. And that's what I was expecting from him. So I was expecting him and Xhaka to be kind of like a Vieira Petit, like double pivot in the middle of the park. Or even something akin to when we had Flamini and Fabregas in their pomp. But like Arteta doesn't seem to use him that way, and I don't know why. Like I don't understand how we're playing a game and Partey's average position is equal to Aubameyang's average position because they're both in the center of the park. Like, what are you doing as like a manager, right? Like it's either he's playing like if you're playing him as a box to box player, which I like. I don't know why you would want to do that. I guess he has the energy to do that, but like you don't play somebody who's physical and strong as a box to box player, and then play somebody who is defensive liability like Xhaka as your sitting midfielder. You don't do that, right? Like you have to play. You. I would much rather like somebody like Xhaka have more license to go forward and Partey just sit, right? Or if they're going to like alternate, like I said, like in a double pivots, then one sits, one goes, the other sits, the other goes. But like at this point, he seems to be playing Xhaka as more of like a sitting midfielder who sprays the ball when we get it, and then he gives Partey like room to go for it, and that's not his strength. So like I don't know why you're not playing to the strength of the player that you're buying. And like that's why he's not looking as good as he did before. Like I understand that kind of happened with Kante where like Lampard was asking him to go for it a little bit more like early on in your season. But like you notice that when you had like the shift and what's his Tuchel came in and he gave him a more defined role and he allowed him to do what he's actually good at. He can still go forward on occasion, but he only goes forward when like there's a solid like when there's solidity behind him, right? And like I don't know why Arteta won't just do that. I don't think it's rocket science. Maybe it's something I'm seeing, but
Yeah, it's
like
an interesting
it doesn't make any sense to me. It genuinely doesn't.
problems like to have because of the differing styles, and then Arteta not knowing how to use them properly. So yeah, but it's weird. Kante, even Kante's use is a little bit like even under Tuchel,
It's
he's not
odd.
just this
It's
dude
really
who's
odd.
just going to sit. They play in the most of the time they play in the pivot with him and Jorginho or him and Kovacic. So it's definitely much. It's definitely in the instructions that Tuchel's giving instead of strictly positional because of yeah, like we don't play Kante as the base. So yeah, it's weird.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, you're
Mm.
absolutely right. Yeah, it's like it's the manager, right? Like that it's tactics. Like for me it's a really simple thing. As a manager, as a tactician, you should have a pretty good idea what you want to do, right? That's why when Fernandinho is getting old, City go out and they buy Rodri because it's like, okay, we need a player that fits this particular profile in this particular position, right? It's like, okay, well, we need a player like Jack Grealish because David Silva just left. So maybe we can turn Jack Grealish into a David Silva kind of player. So we get Jack Grealish and we bring him in because David Silva just left. Like that's a manager who knows exactly how he wants to play, is bringing in players that fit that system, and then is getting the best out of those players. Like what it sounds like Arteta is doing is just kind of like, oh, what's the best player that's available? Yeah, if we can get that guy, get him for whatever price, and then we'll figure out how to like work with him later. And it's frustrating because I don't know how that's gonna help us in
My
any
big
way. I don't like. I really don't. But
I
yeah,
get where
as you
you're
can
coming
tell, I'm
from, and
very
my question
frustrated
kind
about
of
what my
just
club
goes
is doing. I'm
to
very frustrated.
Arteta and how he's handled the situation. I mean, he's worked under Pep Guardiola for a while at Man City, and we can't even sit here and say it's not the right job to be at. One of the best managers in the world who's done it around the world, not around the world, but at least in Europe. Why hasn't he been able to adapt to the Premier League? And do you think like it's time for him to go, or still you want to give him this whole season before we predicted lineups and detailed talks?
Okay, so if I'm being honest, I I would get rid of him. Like, but that's just me. Your question about him working under Pep Guardiola and why it doesn't seem to translate. Um, Honestly, from the little that I've heard about Mikel Arteta, because everybody talks about how he knows a lot about football and how he's very knowledgeable and how almost everybody predicted he was going to be a manager or a coach while he was still a player because he knew a lot about the game. But like, I think management isn't just about knowing, right? Like, management is also about relating to and managing players. Like, a coach can know a lot about tactics and know a lot about the game and can then impart the knowledge on a manager who's very charismatic and can influence the players and can make the players, I don't know, can like inspire. That's the word I'm looking for. Can inspire the players. And I think that that is the one. So yeah, no. So as I was saying, like he's very good at understanding tactics. He's very good tactically. He understands tactics very well. Like he can recognize an opposition's tactics and he can recognize how to counter those tactics. So he can set a team up to play very very well. He just cannot inspire the players to want to play well. So like those are two very different things, right? Like there is being able to set your team up against an opposing team, but if the team want it more than you, and that's like a pretty cliche term in football, but it's like if they want it more, but like it's very true, right? Like if a team are trying and fighting a little bit harder than you are, no matter how good your tactics are, that team is going to win the game. The only time when you usually win games like that is if the players have like an internal motivation, or if like the difference in quality between yourself and the players that you're playing is so vast that it doesn't really matter whether or not the players are up for it, because like your tactics are definitely going to be better. And like I think that that's where Arteta falls short, because if you look at our squad on paper, it's not that much worse than, I don't know, like it's not that much worse than like Tottenham squad,
I
right?
will I
Tottenham
will
have
I
Harry
will
Kane,
jump in, and
sure,
I
but
did
like
want to say
outside
this
of Harry
before you kind of
Kane,
went on that Arteta rant, if you want to call it, or discussion. But they have just kind of lost their first game
yeah,
in the Conference League, I think, is hearing. So they have done a true Tottenham in true
Yeah.
Tottenham style. They've
oh
beaten the
okay.
champions of England and in the Conference League.
Yeah. Imagine losing in the conference, European Conference League.
But yeah.
Sorry, that was a little tea break. Go ahead. You're free to go in there again now.
But no, but no, but like it, no, no, no. But that's the point, right? Like our squad is not so much worse than like a squad like Tottenham, right? But like Tottenham finished, I think Tottenham finished ahead of us, and I think we finished on the same points as Leeds, or like a couple of points below Leeds. Like our squad is not what 1 point or 2 points better than Leeds, right? So like, but that shows you the difference. Like Bielsa is a great tactical manager, but Bielsa is also like a great man manager. Like he seems to be able to do very well tactically, but his players also want to play for him, right? His players want to do well for him, so they don't mind running all the way till the last till the 90th minute and beyond for Bielsa. Like they have the expression, they'll run through a big brick wall for the manager. I think that that's what's happening with like a manager like Bielsa, and that makes a huge difference, right? Like if you look at City, like you can tell that like Pep Guardiola has them on it every single time. Like the master of that was Alex Ferguson. Alex Ferguson would like was great at motivating players. Players always wanted to play. They always felt motivated. He might not have been the most brilliant tactician as a manager, but like as a like a man manager and as somebody who had influence over his players, there was no manager better, and that's why he won so many trophies. You Arteta doesn't have that. I don't want to say yet, but like Arteta doesn't seem to me like he has that, right? So that's an issue. Like that's where our issue comes
I
from
just
anyway, and that's the difference
just to
between
kind
him
of
and Pep,
break off from
I would say.
and have a laugh, and rivalries aside, we both hate Tottenham, so might as well have a laugh. And have broken the record to become the first English club to lose in every single European competition, which now means that they've lost in the Champions League, European Cup, the Cup Winners' Cup, FIFA Cup, the Europa League, the Europa Conference League, and the Intertoto Cup, which I've never heard of, but there's that. So, um,
Oh,
yeah.
it's a really old one. It's a
Yeah.
really
So,
old one.
hey, at least they're breaking some records this season.
The wrong kinds of records. There was this meme I saw once, where it was like it was Johnny Depp and a little kid on a park bench, and it's like, what club do you support? And then the kid goes Tottenham, and then he gives the kid a hug because the kid has tears in his eyes. It's one of my favorite memes. Yeah, no, any excuse to banter Tottenham will put a
Exactly.
smile on my face. Any
Exactly.
excuse to banter
Alex,
Tottenham will put a smile on my
we'll
face.
quickly run through the starting lineup, so we don't have to bore Zokba here. But Mendy has to start in goal. I'm not risking Kepa.
Of course.
Oh no, no, please.
And Chalobah and Christensen
Yeah.
Rudiger.
Yeah, I think that's I'd go with that, and I think that's what's going to happen. But you never know. Like I think Thiago Silva played in the friendly where we beat that like conference team 12-0 or something. So you never know. Thiago Silva could and I'd be happy with it. But
I mean,
as a advocate for the Christensen penitentiary, Christensen has to start.
based off that
Yeah.
game, we should have a midfield of Bakayoko, Barkley, and let's throw in a bit of Kante or Jorginho in there. Ross Barkley Patrick actually on that game.
Did he actually? Oh,
He scored 3 goals.
That's,
So
I'm shocked. Bring him back. People are talking about, we don't have any midfield options. Nah, we got plenty. We got loads of these. Lone Army can help us out easy.
yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be. I mean, at least in the midfield, it's going to be Jorginho and Kovacic. I don't think Kante's getting rested. Does Marcus Alonso, Zogba, will you be happy if it's Marcus Alonso instead of Chil? I know you probably doesn't really concern. There's more important things, but like Marcus Alonso is awful. Is like, I don't know. He came up with a clutch free kick last week, but he's always a bit suspect defensively. So, would you rather Alonso be playing on against your right hand side or Chilwell?
So at the moment, if I had to make a select, well, honestly, I really like I would prefer Marcus Alonso because I think, and I'm really hoping, and I'll get to our starting lineups, I guess, after you guys are done speaking about yours, but I'm really hoping that Saka plays down the left, down our right, so that he comes up against Marcus Alonso because I feel he'll cheat and go forward a lot. I think Chilwell is far more solid defensively. He might, and he also provides a pretty solid attacking threat. So yeah, I would much rather Marcus Alonso because despite the fact that he's a little bit more of an attacking threat, I think if Arteta decides to play Chambers at right back again, or even Bellerin, whoever he plays, I would much rather we have like an attacking player on our right who can take advantage of the space behind Marcus Alonso because he's more likely to leave gaps.
Yeah. It's like,
Well,
yeah, I think even Chelsea fans, we all want to see Chilwell, but it's like, it's just, I think it's mainly it was match sharpness, but I don't know about you, Mohammed, but uh, it's weird with Alonso. He always comes up with, he has a couple of games a season where he'll just come up clutch. So I'd go with Alonso, to be honest, just to see what happens, but, I'm not sure how match sharp Chilwell is. But
in
Mohammad, do you think
before
Alonso is going to do it or in there? Or
in before we'll just throw a surprise Zappacosta in there. He doesn't even play that position, but we'll just throw him in there just to throw off Arsenal. No, but I think Alonso
Yeah.
played really well against Crystal Palace, and I think, as Alex said, he has that run of games, 2-3 games where he's incredible, and so yeah, why not just let him have those games and give Chilwell the rest that he needs, and then prepare him to come back, because we know Alonso's going to for the rest of the season, come back after midway through for a few games, again and again the derby teams, and then again he's going to dip into form. So let's use a bit of an alt, and then hopefully we can see Reece James.
Yeah, I'm hoping for Reece James as well. Aspi looked fine when he's been playing at right wing back, and Cho has not looked great recently. I don't know. It's like uh, the jury's out for a lot of Chelsea fans with Hudson-Odoi, and at right wing back he's not been particularly amazing. But then it's like Reece James hasn't played. I think James came on though in the game against Palace.
I
I
think he
think.
did, yeah.
Yeah, he did. So, yeah, I would start James because I really want to see that Reece James Lukaku link up right there. Leg size for days, just yeah. Honestly, yeah. But yeah, it's got to be James, and then the front three. Oh, Romelu
This is where it gets
Lukaku.
tricky.
He's got to start, man. He has to.
Yeah, yeah.
The guy's had a full preseason with Inter. He's ready to. He is ready. He's been ready for this for bleeding 10 years or something to finally get his chance.
I don't think he is.
Yeah.
I don't think he is. I think you guys need one more game.
Yeah.
I think he has to avoid this game at all costs, just in case for
I
his own
mean,
safety.
it's
think
fine
so.
though. We're treating this Arsenal game as just a preseason game, so he can.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you need
No,
to
we
rest
we
him.
we're
You need to rest
we're
him.
trying players' legs keep working. But no, yeah, I think it's pretty clear in terms of our front three: Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, and Lukaku for me. Uh, Werner, I love him. I love the guy, and honestly, and I love him even after what happened at Stamford Bridge the other day. But just needs that confidence, and he's like, and have to be again the lower division teams in the cup to get that confidence up and slowly come back into the team. Yes, I know the competition, but right now it's just outright clear with Kai Havertz, Mount, and Lukaku for me.
Yeah. I do think Lukaku's going to raise Werner's confidence hugely, and that's one of the other reasons I was really looking forward to Lukaku is to be able to play two strikers up top with Werner and Lukaku, because that's like the ultimate in pace and strength put together.
What
But
what
yeah,
I don't quite understand
team.
from our Chelsea fan base, I know I'm interrupting you, is when we sign who's going to be versus Mason Mount. We're now to a point where both of them gel together so well and play so well, and it's
clearly.
Is it
becoming a
just me,
similar
or did you
situation.
cut out?
Werner and Lukaku. Well,
Okay.
Yeah, Mohammad, can you
Oh,
you just still your video is still I think it might be your internet or something because now you look a bit pixelated.
he's
hello, can
he's
you
back
guys?
now. Yeah, like you're back now, but we missed you for
5
about
seconds.
maybe
Yeah,
20
yeah.
seconds.
Okay, just
Yeah.
repeat
Yeah.
the point then.
And yeah, you're really choppy, Mohammad. Even now, it's like now you're just looking down.
His laptop's finally
Yeah.
given up on him.
I can hear you guys. I
His
can hear you
laptop's
guys.
kicked the bucket.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
weird.
okay.
Okay.
We can hear you too.
Yeah, we can hear you now. So repeat, like I say,
Yeah.
about
Okay.
30 seconds back. Something about fitting in.
Yeah. I'll just.
I heard the habits in there, but
Yeah. I know I'm interrupting Alex here, but I just want to say how Chelsea fans are very keen on Chelsea players against each other. We saw that with Kai Havertz and Mason Mount, and now we're kind of seeing that with Werner and Lukaku, and how fans kind of are like, oh, Werner's going to be second choice, Werner's going to be sidelined, but we never know. never know. These both of these guys are
Mm.
quite expensive signings for Chelsea. Tuchel's clearly said in his press conference he wants to make a team which fits everyone, and it might being Werner and Lukaku hit it off together and them both start. So, as a Chelsea fan, I find it quite difficult to understand how fans can pin a player against another. Whereas I'm just sitting here like, bring anyone on who wants to score goals. I just want to see Chelsea
Mm.
flourish. It doesn't matter whether Werner
Yeah.
scores five a game or Lukaku's the one, or we score five past Arsenal. It doesn't matter
Mm.
as long as we win. So for me, that's the most interesting point. But Alex, go for it. Sorry.
Yeah, I haven't seen many people put that. Like Werner's not. I mean, we've seen whenever Werner's played as a flat number nine, staying central, he just doesn't really cut it. And to be honest, even against Arsenal, I mean, maybe my Arsenal knowledge has degraded over the years. I have had to watch a little bit as my dad is an Arsenal fan, but they don't. I mean, yeah,
Oh my goodness.
Unless we're playing against Man City or any team that presses ridiculously high, that's when Timo Werner's really useful. Like in the Champions League final, his run basically was a pre-assist for Havertz's goal because he drew out their defenders. Arsenal, I don't think are gonna, or you may correct.
Yep.
I don't think you guys are gonna press us. Like I think we'll have, or no, I think you'll press us, but like you're not gonna be at the halfway line, and I think we'll probably have more. Well, I don't know. You never know with these Arsenal games, but ideally
Don't
we wouldn't
worry.
have.
No, you're
Yeah,
absolutely right. You're absolutely
yeah,
right. We're gonna be sitting
exactly.
deep in a deep
Yeah,
block,
and counter.
like waiting for you guys to
Yeah,
come. So, just really quickly on your Timo Werner giving, or at least Lukaku giving Werner confidence. I think so. Last season, Werner came for a lot of money, and I think he was expected to be your primary goal scorer. And I think that put a lot of pressure on him, especially in his first season in the Premier League, playing in a different league and coming from a team where like even though he scored a lot of goals, I think he was played a lot like running into the channel and cutting in from the left, a la early days Henri. Um, However, I think Lukaku coming is going to help him a lot. The same way, like how playing with Giroud helps players like Mbappe and the other players at France because they have like a central target that they can aim the ball towards, and then they can play off that person. I think sorry, not Havertz. I think Werner is going to have like a huge advantage this season because Lukaku is going to attract two or three players to himself and then free up spaces down the channels for players like Werner to run into, and Werner can contribute with the goals. But he will also not be the person who is expected to score all your goals the same way he was last season. So there'll be a lot less pressure on him, and I actually think he's going to have a much better season this season than he had last season.
yeah, totally agreed. Like yeah, it's definitely to take off the pressure, but also to take off the because we haven't really seen much of Werner cutting in like we used to, like you see him in Germany do it. So yeah, it's just to kind of get his
Yep.
confidence back, to give him a little bit more time on the ball if they're focused more on Lukaku. It makes so much sense. But for this game, I'm not sure if he because there's not going to be much space for him in behind. It's just not the right game for him. So yeah, like if you're selecting an
I
all-time,
agree.
if you're selecting a best Chelsea team to face Man City, for me, one of the first guys on the team sheet because of his pace, and it's just so perfect for playing against them. But for teams that are going to sit back, it's just not, particularly when he's not in a he's not in great confidence. It's just yeah, it's not a great idea. So yeah, I'm hoping that instead it's like Mohammad said, Mount, Havertz, and Lukaku. I think that's the best for yeah. It's just a shame Ziyech is out. Like it's really good to see that he's coming
Fair
back
enough.
because Hakim Ziyech in preseason was balling out. Like he was just playing like the Ziyech that we expect from earlier last season and in Ajax pretty much. He was amazing, but yeah, injuries have just kind of taken its toll on him. And that's why I was a little bit worried about this one where he got an injury to his shoulder. It's not the same as getting a hamstring injury, so maybe it won't dampen his confidence too much. But yeah, just hoping that he's back in training now, so hopefully he'll be back soon. But if he was available and non-injured, I would have put him instead of Havertz. but
I completely
yeah,
as well.
yeah. So
Okay,
yeah, that's us
Zok, but
now.
any kind of your or just a few players who you think could be, contender for man of the match performances against Chelsea, or key players for Arteta against Chelsea?
Honestly, so we saw. I mean, I haven't watched too much of Chelsea this season. I did watch quite a bit of Chelsea, getting to the end of
Must have
last
watched the
season
Arsenal
under
game.
Thomas Tuchel. Very, very solid. I did. But no, like a very, very, very solid defensive team. Play in a low block. Not like a super low block, but like they attack and defend as like a unit. I think I don't know. Did you play three at the two at the back in your first game, or did you play three at the
Three
back?
at the
You played
back.
three at the
Three at the
back,
back.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, if you guys are going to play three at the back and you're going to play like Jorginho and probably Kovacic and or Kante, depending on whether or not he's fit, we're looking at a very crowded middle of the park. I'm not expecting very much to come from the middle. Um, it makes no sense then to pick somebody who is going to have any sort of good performance from the middle of the park for us. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we can actually put a fairly solid midfield out at the moment. I think the last time we played Lakonga and Xhaka in the middle of the park. I would play just about the same. I think Torreira is back now. So honestly, I like we don't need size because it's not like I mean if you guys are playing Lukaku, we do need some size in defense, but I think that we need a hardworking midfield. So I think that if we play somebody like if we play like Torreira and Xhaka and Lakonga, that way we have like a solid 4-3-3 is what I would play, and that way we have like a solid three, shielding our back two. We can play with our attacking wing backs because we need people like Kieran Tierney and we need people like Hector Bellerin if he plays to be able to go forward and exploit the 2-on-1 on the flanks. So I'm expecting somebody like Pepe to play with Bellerin on the right, and then if we can play somebody like Saka and what's his name, Saka and Tierney on the left, and then we play through the middle. We play Aubameyang or Lacazette. So I'm hoping Aubameyang is fit and can play. That way we have a lethal striker in the middle and we have overloads down the flanks. And what we can do is we can try and create those 2-on-1 situations, get to the byline and put in crosses to try and like score a goal. I can't see um I can't see us getting any joy down the middle. So playing any variation of uh, of a 3-4-3 or trying to match you formation for formation sounds a little ludicrous to me because like you'll just dominate us because your players are just that much better. So yeah, we'll have to take our chances because we're gonna have to. I believe it's a home game for us. This is our first home game. We just lost to Brentford. Like we need a performance. We need to score some goals. We need to get the fans feeling good. We didn't score any goals against the promoted side. If we go defensive this game and try to keep it cagey, no, I don't think it'd be a good idea. So I'm hoping to see a really good performance from people like Pepe and Saka and Tierney. That's where I'm hoping our good performances come from.
Yeah, it's hope that I think Arsenal fans have can kind of stop Lukaku, but his 40,
It's the hope that kills
yeah,
you. It's the hope that
41
kills you.
contributions in 51 games last season for Inter Milan. I really do hope that he shows up on Sunday because it's been a while beating Arsenal. For some reason, we have this tendency to be in the greatest form of and still lose to Arsenal. So we do hope that we do. But it's been a long discussion. Quickly, let's glance.
But
Sorry, go for it.
I actually have a question for you guys. Yeah, no. So what? Just curious. So what happens if like let's say Lukaku doesn't score when we play you, okay? And let's say you're like 4 or 5 games into the season and Lukaku still hasn't scored a goal, and he's struggling to get. No, I mean, it's probably not going to happen. But what happens if you get to that point
We
and Werner is scoring goals for you
we retire the number 9 shirt. We
instead?
retire the number 9 at Chelsea.
Yeah, he's taking my number 9 as well, which
Just
is
throw it
like,
out. Just throw it out.
oh
No,
man.
it's been a struggle. I honestly, Chelsea and strikers since Drogba and Costa have been a struggle. We've tried Higuain, we've tried Morata. Werner, to an essence, I'm still giving him a chance this season because the last season was his first season, and with Lukaku as well. I think Chelsea fans need to understand what happened with Havertz and Werner last season, and it might even happen to Lukaku. I mean, yes, he has had a lot more experience in the Premier League than the other two that we've mentioned on the list, but I'm ready to give him this whole season to kind of settle in and then become the Lukaku that he was at Inter Milan.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna have high.
We'll do this again. No, I was just gonna say we'll do this again for the return leg, and we'll talk then.
Sounds like a mild threat. Yeah, it's like this isn't the last we've heard on this matter for sure. Yeah, it's gonna be like I'm gonna hold Lukaku to high standards mainly because he's not new to the league. He scored 113 Premier League goals and he's only 28, so he can definitely get up there for like all-time Premier League goal scorers. I think he can definitely get into the conversation. But yeah, I'm gonna hold him to high standards, and if he's like at the end of the day, yeah, there's no need to be negative on him yet because he's not even kicked a football for Chelsea yet this season. But yeah, it's as long as someone's scoring, and as long as Jorginho isn't our top scorer on 7 penalties, then we've done our job. Then Marina's done her job because it's we can't have that happening again. Especially and I fully back him to do it. Like Chelsea and target men, you can never go wrong. Name me we haven't had a single target man do badly. I'm just computing, just thinking before I'll stand by that claim. We haven't had a target man who's done badly at Chelsea. And it's just, but yeah. So
Shevchenko.
okay. I could see that one because
We're not that old.
I didn't
We're
think
not
he
that
was.
old.
I didn't. Yeah, I forgot he was. I forgot he was one. My bad.
Oh,
But yeah,
just call me grandpa.
Yeah,
Just call me grandpa.
Grandpa's okay.
Right, UEFA Awards. Before this episode ends up being 2 hours long, I want to get Zogba's opinion as well because I feel like Alex, yours and our opinion is going to be a bit biased. But I feel like we might get a good opinion from Zogba here in terms of the midfield that Chelsea might be able to secure because they have 2 nominations in it as well as a player where Kante and Jorginho both are nominated. I will go as far as to say to keep this debate little bit short that Tuchel and Emma Hayes deserve the Manager of the Year in terms of what they've done at Chelsea. I know Emma Hayes didn't really win the Champions League, but she got to the final, which I think was unexpected as well in terms of the women's teams. And then Tuchel, we all know the miracle that he's done after coming after Lampard. Just a quick word on that, Alex.
Was that on the Manager of the Year awards?
Manager.
As in, sorry, I zoned out on them.
As in, do you think there's even a debate in terms of Tuchel and Emma Hayes winning it?
I'm not sure. In Emma Hayes' case, for both cases, probably not. I mean, for Emma Hayes, I'm not sure who the other nominees are, but as far as I'm aware, she's the greatest manager in women's football right now. So, and from a commentary, it was great to see her commentary in at the World Cup. Oh no,
Euros.
Oh my goodness, Euros.
Euros.
I'll see myself out. I'm sorry. I've had a long day. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Right. Okay. Yes. Euros.
Right.
But yeah, to be honest, I haven't looked into I'll give her if I was voting. Of course, I'm voting for her. But I'll be honest that I haven't followed enough of women's football to know more about her other than that she's an absolute boss at managing. And for Tuchel's case, there's just no one else. I'm sorry, there's no one else who's come in and done an absolute wonder job. In 6 months' time, given Guardiola 3 L's in the space of 6 weeks, tell me someone else who can do that. It's just plain and simple, isn't it?
Even
So
after that video of him going with the 3 wing backs, midfielders, and
yeah,
everything.
exactly. Why Chelsea play so good? But, but yeah, I don't think it's any competition. Like, yeah, no competition for me. Tuchel
Yeah,
has to win, and I'm not even if I remove the Chelsea bias, he's got to be he's almost dead certain, because the effect he's had on that team is just
completely agree.
no one could have predicted it. So yeah, definite vote for me for both.
Completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Zogba, I'm going to send this question out to you first because I think you're going to give a more unbiased opinion. Kante, Jorginho, Kevin De Bruyne, the best midfielder award, and then the player of the year. All three are nominated for both of those awards. Who's going to get what?
Yep.
And why was it going to be Kante and
Okay,
Jorginho?
so when it comes to midfielder of the year, honestly, see, I think since both of them are nominated for both midfielder and player of the year, I think whoever wins one obviously has to win the other, because it would be kind of
Bit
weird
sus
if one
if
won one and didn't win the other. Yeah, it would be very
yeah.
questionable. I'd be like, who the hell is voting for this stuff? But no, honestly, I am a bit biased because I really like N'Golo Kante, but I actually think N'Golo Kante is also like the pretty obvious choice. I know Jorginho had a really good season last season, but like N'Golo Kante has consistently been one of the best players in the world for how many years now? Hardly ever gets any recognition for it. France won the World Cup primarily because of N'Golo Kante, as far as most of the French players will tell you. Um, Leicester won the Premier League with N'Golo Kante, and then they went to when he moved to Chelsea. Chelsea won the Premier League. If for nothing else, just as like an achievement award, this is an award that Kante deserves to win. That's not even beginning to talk about the role that he had in your Champions League win, as well as like your recent Super Cup win. So I would by far and away give this to N'Golo Kante. If De Bruyne had played a few more games last season, I think if Belgium had done a lot better in the Euros, and if City had won the Champions League, he would have been in contention. But the fact that like they didn't do any one of those things, it kind of works against him. To be honest, I get that Italy won the Euros, but I don't even think Jorginho was one of Italy's best players in the Euros, in my opinion. I think he was a very good player, don't get me wrong, but I don't think that like he was as influential in the Italy team as, say, I forget who the forwards were, but like even Locatelli was a name that I recall more from the Euros than I do Jorginho. So like, yeah, like when France won the World Cup, I think everybody was raving about Kante, and it would just make sense for him to win it as a nice crowning gesture for the career that he's had so far. With regards to the managers, honestly, yeah, I mean, half a season to win the Champions League, sure, but I always place a little bit more precedence on people who've done it
Mm.
throughout the season. So I'll always give it to Pep over Tuchel, or even like Mancini for winning the Euros. Emma Hayes is probably one of my favorite managers of all time. I think she should have come in after Lampard left. So yeah, Emma Hayes being manager of the year, I have no issue with that at all.
I, I think I don't quite agree with the comment on the managers. I think no, I'm not trying to cause anything here, but in general, I just feel like you can't give it to Pep because he lost to Tuchel, you know. And if not
Yeah, you
Tuchel,
can.
You can.
how can you? I mean,
Just because
yeah, I
Mohammed
mean,
in
I mean,
his
knowing UEFA, De
yeah.
Bruyne's winning Player of the Year, Pep's winning Manager of the Year, and Emma Hayes is not winning her trophy as well. So we already know that's going to happen.
Let me put it to you this way, Mohammed. Right, like we in cup competition. First of all, like Tuchel came halfway through the season, so he had the benefit of hindsight. Right, that's a benefit that Pep didn't get. Pep started right from jump day one, so any mistakes that the team made, he had to make those changes on the fly. He didn't know what he was walking into. Like, yes, sure, you can say he set the team up and he had like a really good team that were built in his image. But how often even in the Premier League, and we all watch it, do you see managers get fired and then a new manager comes in and then they have like the new manager bounce, where it's like the new manager all of a sudden has like a run of great results? I'm not saying that's what happened with Tuchel. All I'm saying is that like that's a discrepancy. You know what I mean? So like a manager who's able to do that over a full season consistently for a whole 10 months will definitely get more respect from me than somebody who does it for like 6 months. That's all I'm saying.
I can get that in terms of that. I can understand, but just I still wouldn't want to give it to Pep Guardiola just because it just doesn't seem fair to win it against the manager who you lost to. But in terms of what Guardiola has done at Man City is incredible in European competitions, not just this season, but in the last few seasons. Yes, he's come closer than anyone else to win it. But at the end of the day, I have to throw shade at Man City, and I'll say, you know what, you can keep the manager trophy. We'll keep the Champions League, and we'll keep our medals. So you can go ahead and keep those trophies to yourself.
Looking at the nominations, like it, so the other one is Mancini, and to be honest, I like my second choice probably would have been Mancini because of the effect that he's had on the team since Italy's what since 2016 they've come a long way. So and yeah, it's like
Yeah.
he's kind of built a team that's greater than the sum of its parts, I think, in a way. Because yes, they have, or maybe it's just their forwards decided to turn up a bit more in this one. But yeah, then again, they do have a lot of quality around their squad. So maybe I'm talking a bit of rubbish. But he's done a great job, I think, for Italy. So
Oh no, but
yeah,
I actually agree with you.
yeah,
I agree with you
yeah,
largely, right? Because like again, like for me, it's always about like the managers that are able to start with something and then build it all the way to the
mm,
end. I personally feel like if you're a manager and you come into a season halfway through, like you're kind of playing with house
mm,
money. Because if the team does poorly, it's like, oh well, he didn't have a transfer window, and
mm,
you know, like he didn't get a chance to bring his players in. And if you do really well, they'll be like, oh my god, look at this amazing thing he did with this amazing squad
mm,
of players. It's not like Chelsea had a bad squad when he
yeah,
walked through the door. You guys had a really good squad. You shouldn't have been where you were. So like I can respect what he did, but like Pep got to the Champions League final. Pep won what, like all the trophies in England, right? Except for the FA Cup. And then yeah, and he was in the FA Cup final, wasn't he? I
no.
think City were in the FA
Oh
Cup
wait,
final with Leicester, right?
oh
We
no,
were we were in the FA
we
Cup
were,
final.
we got
Okay, so yeah, so like he got to yeah. Sorry, he was in the semi-final of the FA
yeah.
Cup. He won the League Cup, he won the Premier League, and he got to the Champions League final all in one
We knocked
season,
him out.
right? Like
And lost to Tuchel, and lost to Tuchel.
oh, fair
Yeah, but
enough.
you're
I mean,
right.
fair
I get
enough,
your point
right?
though.
Fair
Yeah,
enough. Like
Yeah.
no. Next season, we're giving this trophy to Sam
yeah,
Allardyce when he beats
yeah,
Tuchel three
yeah, yeah.
times.
Absolutely. I don't see any problems with that. No, he's earned it. Oh man, give it to the manager at West Brom.
Hey,
But yeah,
Honestly,
no.
though, for scoring 8 goals against Chelsea in 2 games, wherever the manager's telling
Absolutely
you,
right,
yeah,
right. It, he's a master. He's a
yeah,
champion.
he's
Imagine if we beat you guys on Sunday, and then all of a sudden Arteta is in the nominations for Manager of the Year. Like he
yeah,
must win it.
he's beaten
He just
Tuchel.
beat the champions of
Yeah,
Europe.
that's how it works. We have a late nom.
So Zogba, for that to happen, you will have to be in a European competition.
Competition.
I don't know if they will allow
No,
managers from the
we can
Conference
beat you in the
League.
league.
No, I'm just talking about the UEFA Manager of the Year. So
Oh, the
uh,
nominations. The nominations. Okay.
uh, no,
Nah,
but
don't let me get into
Mm.
my Bielsa was robbed bag, because Bielsa was robbed. But you know, I'm not gonna start with that.
Yeah,
uh,
apparently Mohammed's
no,
the nominations like are based off domestic and
yeah,
international. So yeah, it could be Arteta could do it.
Okay.
But it
yeah. I mean, you
just
never
needs
know.
No, but honestly, they should have had Bielsa up there. Bielsa deserved to be nominated for Manager of the Year, in my opinion.
Yeah,
We've still
like
got the Ballon d'Or.
He
Let's
did great
not the
things
Ballon
with
d'Or,
the
but
leagues.
the Ballon
the
d'Or.
other awards that happen every year.
Yeah,
I don't remember what they're
player.
called. I don't know if they're called just the French awards. I
The
can't remember
World
what the
Player of
event.
the Years. Yeah.
World Player of the Years. Yeah, so in there somewhere, a manager record, maybe for BL. But a great discussion, honestly, guys. I know we've probably went longer than the time I told Zoc, but it's always great to have some rival fans here and kind of have that banter going on. So Zoc,
Always.
but thank you for coming on
Always.
firstly, and giving us your time. And apologies for all the
Oh, no
delays that
problem.
we
I enjoy that. Come on, it's no issue. It's no issue. I delayed a bit too, so like that's not a problem at all. That's not a problem. It's always fun, like I said, to have these discussions. The last time was fun. This time was fun. You guys are fun. You're fun to talk to.
if you're feeling bold, we would like to invite you to our live match watch along, which we do usually during the games and before the games. But it might be a bit hectic over there as well. But yeah,
Oh
that's
no,
great.
I'm perfectly okay with doing that. As long as you're okay with having like a bit of swearing on there when it's live, because I do really get into the games.
I'll,
So
I'll I'll let the hosts know, and I'll send you an invite if there is an open spot, and if they don't have anyone already signed up for that. But
no
thank you
problem,
as
no
again
problem.
for coming on. Thank you guys for
I
watching. Thank you,
appreciate you having
Alex,
me.
No
for
worries, man. That was
Alex.
like yeah, a lot of
He
fun.
was a bit. Alex was a bit reserved today. We saw him say some stuff behind the cameras, and he doesn't want it here because he knows if Chelsea lose, Zogba's going to come back. He's going to come back on Sunday, and
Yeah.
he's going to rip us to shreds.
Oh, it's gonna be a
Uh,
glorious day when I come back if we win. It's gonna be a glorious, glorious day.
See,
It's
if
gonna be
you receive
flags
an
in the
invitation,
background.
if you receive an invitation on Sunday, you best believe Chelsea have won. No.
No, I think even if we win, you'll probably want to have me back just to tease how terrible we were even in the win. And I'm still gonna be despondent. I mean, we still lost to Brentford. Like, there's no I don't have a feeling of hope at this point. I just take the little victories, but all hope is dead.
Yeah. Hopefully, it's an entertaining game. That's all. That's all what we asked for. Not a 0-0, as most big games are. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. Thank you to everyone for listening and watching. Leave a like rating and subscribe to the channel before we're trying to hit 2,500 again. In between the season, we were inconsistent and we lost a few subscribers. So try and hit that subscribe button as well. Just one more time, if anyone wants a football kit, any team, and even in any team or any kind of sports jersey, it could also be a cricket or a rugby jersey if you want from Kitbag. 20% off and free shipping in the UK using the link below and using the code BALLER, which spells out baller. As always, thank you guys for watching. Follow our social media pages for more content, more daily content, and more news. And we're going to be starting our women's channel soon as well. So watch out for